Hello. Hello, lovely. How are we doing today? Happy Tuesday. It's June. Going live here on social media and just tuning in to Divine Collective today, channeling in and seeing what comes up for the collective. We'll be doing some mini healings and readings today. So just starting to tune in. I will start off with the collective here today. And as you come in and out, feel free to start to come back to listen to something and take what resonates and what doesn't, right? So if I'm tuning into collective here, not everything is for everyone. So take what resonates within your own right body and what rings true, and let that speak for you and let that message be heard. And maybe it doesn't resonate now, and you come back later and you're like, oh, that thing, that makes sense, that thing that was said. So let that just be an opportunity for you. So I'm gonna start to tune into the collective here. And if you're here and you're new or you're not new, feel free to say hello in the chat. Just drop a hi, or if you want to just hit that subscribe or like button, just so you can come back to the video. I'm going to start to tune into the collective here. So feel free to have some fun. And yeah, let's see where it goes. All right. And I'm also going to pull a card here. I'm feeling guided to, I have these, like this angelic deck that has some powerful codes in it. So, and again, if it resonates with you, one piece of the message, let that be the piece to hear, right? So what I'm hearing coming through is I'm hearing truth and trust. I'm also getting, interestingly enough, like an itchy fingers or itchy finger here. And I am hearing too this abundance coming in. It's coming in from my receiving hand, and it's there's like a physical representation of the abundance coming in. A lot of times this can be money, but it's abundance of all sorts. So I'm just hearing to be open and to be curious on if we're looking to bring something into our lives right now, what being open to not maybe the structure of how it comes in. And when we're open and we're in the flow, right, our manifesting ability is limitless. We're like, this is exactly what we want. This is how it's going to come in. That energy can pull in as a little bit of resistance. So if this is coming in, it might be resonating with you as far as like there's some sort of like I even feel business opportunity kind of coming in, and it could be around work related, around if you own your own business. And so just letting that be something where you're in the flow. You're in the flow of all of the possibilities here. So I'm going to pull a card here and just see what comes in for the collective here. And as you're just coming in here, just hit that like button and feel free to drop a hello. Just doing some collective here. I'm definitely feeling some businesses take off here. I love it. I like what I'm hearing is like stepping into this new era of like trusting self, and that the opportunities that are coming your way are just kind of like, it just, they're sprinkling in. And I just feel like some people are like, that's not exactly what I was looking for. But the universe is like showing this display of affection, of like belief in you, right? Universe is you, source, that connection, right? And so and I'm hearing like trusting that, that you deserve that, and that you're just saying, you're stepping into that alignment and trust within your own being. So yeah, let that come in for a bit here. Endings for beginnings. I'm going to actually show this card here. There's some codes in that, so just kind of take a look there. And this one is powerful. I actually, if you do follow me, if you're on my like email or newsletter, or if you're not, it's all good. But I'll put up my website here so you can see. And I had some messages coming in here this week about when things, maybe they're appearing as endings, right? And so it's funny because this actual card is showing it's saying endings, but it's signifying to me like this representation of sometimes things look like endings, but it's actually these new beginnings, these chapters that maybe things are no longer in resonance and no longer in your current frequency and consciousness level. And what I mean by that is I'll share this story that I usually share with a lot of people that do work with me, is that at one point I had a corporate career that the universe ended, and the job was eliminated. So I stepped into a business full time, and what looked like maybe endings, right, was actually me just stepping into this new beginning and power of my true, authentic self. And this journey that I was on, I was clearing a lot of old belief systems. I was clearing out a lot of connections to old ways of being. And then when those things cleared out, the job moved out. Okay. And then other things started to move out as well from my life. Things that, let's just say, belief systems that were wherever they were, created from, whether, something that happened, society, things are starting to fall off. Like these illusions of what I would say safety and security built up of, right, you say like job. Okay, so like job, safety, security. Oh, like that's the conventional thing to do, but the job was still eliminated. So this illusion of safety and security through that started to fall away, right? And so basically coming into this a new state of self-realization of like, oh, you know what? I can just do the thing that I feel really soul aligned to do, and at the same time manifested this opportunity and opportunity to step forward into it. So just know that if you are in spaces, and it feels like definitely very much so for the collective, like there's always what looks like endings and beginnings, new chapters, deaths and rebirth, if you want to call it that, like whatever word you want to call it, there's always things shifting. And what we have the opportunity to do is to look at, instead of holding on to something that is no longer in resonance and frequency within our mind anymore. Instead of holding on to that one last time, we just do like what I call, or what they call like a leap of faith, right? And your hands open, and maybe you do a trust fall backwards, and you're like, I don't know, someone's gonna fucking catch me, but you do it anyways, right? And when we start to step into that, we are creating this is a new way of being. Maybe we haven't seen this new way of being before, but what it really is that it's signifying our true self that is being expressed through those new actions now, right? And so we have that opportunity as things are being released and people, places, things are moving out. What is that? That is space that is being seen within ourselves to now be on a frequency of wherever our consciousness is at, and just keep that moving forward. I love the comment here. Yeah, business. That was so accurate. Yeah, there's thank you for that. And this is just kind of like a collective here, right? So just tuning in to the frequencies of people who are here, or like, you know, who will be watching this. And there definitely feels like I have this message coming in since March. We have been going through some intense things astrology wise. Okay, we have, you know, the first eclipses in this Aquarius age, or like however long this new Aquarius age is. It's like it was the first set that was coming in. There's all these planetary shifts where they were shifting out of all these signs, and I had this self-realization, like it was flowing through my 8th house. And I'm not a big astrology person, so don't come at me. Don't come at me if I misstate something incorrectly. But just the general knowledge of like this death and rebirth and all of this switching into that new energy. Okay, but huge planetary shifts going into new signs and new houses are now bringing in new things into our awareness. And, you know, it's coming out from our subconscious mind. They're coming out one by one or all at the same time. And over the last few months, we've had so many shifts in the planet. But it's also mirroring our own consciousness, guys. It's the planet is mirroring a collective consciousness now of all of these things are ready to be seen. We are at it. Maybe not everyone's at the same spot and where someone else is, but we are ready as a collective, I promise you, to see the things that we have not seen previously. We're so ready. We're so ready. So let the things, like, it feels like this month, and like, you know, not just this month, but it feels like this month is the heavy integration of all of these self-realizations, one after another, after another, after another. And what do we need to do? What does that mean? We have all these things coming up. Well, now we're learning about like our reality and what part we've had in creating aspects and where it's coming from. Well, how do we apply this new way of being? How do we apply it? Now I see it, but what do I do with it? What the heck do I do with it? And that is where we start to see what is our true self and what is projections of experiences filtered through pain or things I've gone through, right? Versus society, what society deems is where I'm supposed to be at, versus like, what do I truly want? And that's self-discovery. That's part of the journey. And that's part of this, like, this detachment from like the egoic attachment on like, oh, okay, I need to like do this to feel safe, right? Once we start to see that illusion, we can step forward, okay? But first, being open to that. So I invite you guys, whoever this resonates with, I invite you guys to be open to what your surrounding is telling you, what your environment is telling you, what situations are coming and arising around you, and being open and curious is not, we don't want to put blame or, you know, this or that. And there's a piece of accountability and where I play in that as well. But acknowledging it is the first piece in that awareness in the mind, and the ego starting to say, oh, okay, I don't need to protect anymore. Let me allow myself to see and be witness to the journey, and now I can do something about it. But if I don't even acknowledge, what am I doing? I'm shoving down, I'm suppressing, I'm putting that back in a pocket for then maybe it to be catalyzed in a further point in my journey, or in the next week for it to come up in another scenario, right? We're just putting down. So this acknowledgement is this acknowledgement of what also we may not prefer, and what other decisions that we have control over that we can do, and start to rewire that way of thinking. So if you're new here and you're like, where is this coming from, and where is she coming from? We can have a lot of mindsets that come in from what we've experienced in life, and how can we now shift our way of being? That's in our control. That's in our mindset, and like how we react or respond, and like where are we going to. So these new beginnings are really coming in, or endings for beginnings are coming in for us. Okay, so like this is coming in for us, guys. These beginnings. Okay, and you see this card is like so, like it's so powerful. All this white light is just beaming through. Right, just kind of let those codes just kind of sink in here. Beaming through this card. Those are the new beginnings. If we let it. If you're resonating with this, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you're new here. I'm going to pull another card. If anyone is looking for like just kind of like a mini reading or healing, let me know. Drop something down there. I will be doing a few, maybe like, kind of feel the collective there. I'm going to pull another card here and just see what kind of comes out. Yeah. And then feel free to let me know where you're tuning in from. Which oracle deck am I using? That's a good question. It's I think it's called Angelic Lightwork. I believe it's called, Angelic Lightwork. Yeah, Angelic Lightwork is the deck, and it is a higher frequency for sure. Like you can tell, not only is there sacred geometry in it, but there's other codes in it as well. So when you the intention is, or my understanding with oracle decks, and like the codes that come through and what is being channeled is also helping to shift. So it's really powerful. I highly recommend getting this deck. This deck is very, very beautiful. So I also had this coming in before, and before I started the live, and I wasn't sure where it's coming from, and it's coming back in, and I have stuff happening with my throat. Tuning in, from San Jose, California. I love it. Oh my gosh. I love it, love it, love it. And if you're not following me, hit that follow button so you see when I'm going to go live again, or what other events that I do. I love California. I was just in kind of the Bay Area in California. I'm in Arizona area, and I do make my way into California quite a bit. So in August and September, I will be going. There's a couple expos out there and a couple events that I plan on holding out there when I go too. So definitely subscribe. Planning on doing some goddess circles, or just kind of intuitive events while I'm out there. So thank you for joining in today. All right, I'm gonna, since I don't see anyone that maybe that is interested in any type of reading or healing, I'm just gonna pull another card here, but feel free to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and drop you'd be interested in something. But if not, you can just let me know where you're tuning in from. And blessed with gratitude. Oh, and I love the colors here too. I love the colors on this deck. Purples, pinks. It's actually even reminding me of like ancient Lemurian type vibes, and that just could be also the connection of the people that are here too. I am. Okay, so if you are interested, let me know your name. I believe I know who you are, but just drop a first name, and if you have a question, or if you are looking for a mini healing, which would probably just be some light language, and this might even be what's coming in for you. But there's a energy of, like, for me, while I'm waiting for you to drop that in there, there's an energy here with this card, and like the frequencies coming into the collective that is like these clouds kind of rolling in, and this vibe of like just pure divine love coming in. It's such a connection to ancient Lemuria. I was just in Hawaii, and I was there for a personal retreat, but then I was guided to her. I was in Maui for like a couple hours on the beach there, and a lot of this divine ancient Lemurian energy was just flowing through these codes of not only divine feminine, but like this frequency and resonance of pure divine love, this heart-centered essence of truth, of universal truth, of oneness, and this connection to all that is. And when you have this, when we start to step into these higher consciousness states of love, more and more and more and more, the things around us, we can start to observe them from a different space, where we start to realize that thing, that reaction from someone else is not about us, nothing to do with us. And that pure level of love for humanity and myself brings in the space for me to then create from there, to create from that truth and to respond through love. And I still also have boundaries, right, or whatever that may be, but respond from that space, and be able to allow more of an observance of a situation instead of making it about me, which things can always feel really personal, and that can be true in some circumstances, but the messages that are coming through is more about this awareness of where we're at in this journey and how we can step into higher states of pure unconditional love, right? So allowing that to be true, for us to see that deeper, feels really connected to gratitude as well, to that frequency. So yeah, let me step into this here. Hopefully that's resonating with some people there, but that's just a collective, so not everything applies to everyone. But hit that like button, guys, as I step into this. So, okay, expanding your heart and healing your nervous system. Are you looking for, is it like just a healing here? I do feel some light language coming in, so I will probably go with that, but I want to make sure yeah, it feels like that's what's coming through. So does that work here? Let me know. Just hit that yes button. While you do that, I'm going to take a sip here. Whew. I feel the heart stuff coming in. It makes sense on what was coming in before on this card. Feels related and connected to your intention here. So while I just kind of look for your response there, I feel the healing, the energy flowing through, but just let me know, yes, healing, if that's something you're looking for. And so this, I feel this connection already starting. Yes, that works. Open to both. Okay. There's just a little bit of guidance kind of coming through. And so feel free to kind of rest those eyes and relax those eyes here, and just start to center in. And the intention here is for you, Adriana. So we'll start to step in that space. Of course, if anyone else is open to receiving just telepathic yes work, then feel free to rest your eyes, as there's just some divine codes coming through. I do feel this connection to that throat space as well. So we're going to focus on heart and throat and start to visualize that connection there, that deep presence within self. We se wala hakasu te kata shiwale kata wa hisikidule ka usitelewata kiwale suates tewele deep heart understanding gua haleke o suele ka shuitela kwayetawale kiwale. Just start to visualize going deeper into that heart, deeper layers that are just unveiling. Kui te ole ke se te ole, koi se te ole ha koa hasa ke te ole haka wish kui te kiwa ke ole kasu koile ia te ole koile he se, and that energy moving up to the throat. Kua ia te ole ke se ke te we shi ke te ole ka sukwa ha leo ke te we shui ke te ole ka shuela ka hasa te le ki otwa kawa hasa ke te wili ke te ole ka was te wili ka wa ka shui te ke wele kawa ia sutuele. Just letting that energy flow through and let any resistance of receiving just be acknowledged. Just be acknowledged. Allowing yourself to be in the flow, letting this divine love permeate throughout the entire body, moving through your DNA down to the subatomic level in all dimensions, times, and planes. Letting that energy flow up that heart, up the throat, into that third eye center, the forehead, where this deep understanding of seeing yourself and receiving that love is just opening up and expanding that heart. As your cup fills up more, that is the cup where you pull from. Just letting that energy run through a little bit more. And just feel free to come back to the room. Feel free to keep those eyes closed, however you kind of feel. There's just some messages coming in here. So the energy still keeps going as the words come out. Feel free to stay in that relaxed state. There feels like this connection to heart expanding, yes. And with that is truth in your expression, right? So the nervous system may be connected to the ways in which, and I'm just hearing like what a closed heart may feel like or be like, and some things that were just kind of taught. So what I'm hearing the heart say, and like this consciousness, this higher consciousness and your higher self just kind of come in and just explain this space of receiving and your cup filling up. I see that heart moving, opening up to that possibilities of receiving and seeing receiving, especially what can seem hard for empaths to receive, right? But some of those reasons came in was because as an empath, we may have learned to scan, see the field around us, and see, is it okay to be? Is it okay? Do I need to do this? Do I need to do that? A lot of that is given, right? So as we come back from healed empath state and wholeness and feeling centered inside, that heart is expanding to the limitless possibilities of receiving. And that is the cup of which we are giving from. That cup flows over. We have that much more to give, right? When we fill the cup up and we only receive what we feel we should receive, instead of being open to allowing as much as we can and practicing that intention, then what we're saying is we're more resisting that, right? That energy receiving. And what we may be resisting from that is impacting what we are giving. There might be some connection to subconscious belief on like what giving and that exchange looks like. So the more that we open that heart and the more that we're receiving, the more that we're actually giving. So that heart is definitely seeing it as this energetic funnel. It's beautiful. It's beautiful, beautiful heart there. Yeah, hopefully that makes sense. Feel free to come back if your eyes were closed. Feel free to come back. Feel free to be in the space or just relax. But that feels pretty complete, that message coming through there. So hopefully that helps there. Hopefully that helps. Whew. feeling pretty open, the field here. So I'm just going to start to kind of disconnect this intention to disconnect from the energy, allowing the space, the intactness, the sovereignty. Just seeing that space kind of come in very clear there. So beautiful, beautiful. Yeah, if anyone else is looking for any, yeah, absolutely, looking for any mini reading or healing come through, and or both, let me know. Drop into that space. While you are doing that there, or while I'm waiting, I would love to share with you guys. I have two things coming up that I'm like, of course I show this on the screen and it's like taking up like my face. So I have two things coming in here, and you can always come back to this so that you can scan it. You can go to my website to see it as well. There are what's called aquamarine light being attunements. So you may have felt some of the energy that was coming in for the transmission if you were open to that, to receiving that. That was also connected to aquamarine crystalline light healing, and it's all energy. These are interdimensional beings of a higher density that come in, that help on all levels: emotional, physical, spiritual, causal planes. So different planes to where we create karma from, which is at the inception of when belief systems are formed. There's a plane where we start to create through the subconscious mind, through what we learned, and go through cycles and patterns. And so this energy helps to move through all of that in all lifetimes. And so these beings have completely, the energy forms have completely transformed my life. So I'm offering their group attunements. They're on Thursdays from 12 to 1 hour, and they're for 9 weeks. And so what are attunements? I'd like to explain, because there's like a receiving of energy, which was received today, right, or acknowledged today if you said yes. There's energy that comes through. Okay, and they're transmissions and basically higher knowledge and understanding and shifts. And then what we do is we then step out of this space. We're all healers, and we say, okay, this is like the new way of being that I'm stepping into, right? So what attunements are essentially new energetic structures. A lot of times it can be connected to like the nervous system, like the energetic system. We have like the auric field, we have the field outside of us, all the energy bodies. So we have our physical body, and then we have all of the energetic bodies. And I don't know why, but when I explain it, like, right, it's like, it feels like we're going outward, like whatever truth is to that. But there's all of the energy bodies, right? The emotional space, the causal, the spiritual, right? Like all of these energetic bodies that hold our divine blueprint. And so these attunements are coming in because as a collective, our consciousness is expanding and raising, and the earth is expanding and raising, and the consciousness of earth is expanding in ways where now higher energy fields are being seen and acknowledged and able to step into and hold. So what attunements do is it actually, there are structures within our body that then allow us to hold more light of this higher resonance, of these higher frequencies. So the feeling that I would connect to after these specific attunements was this understanding of like presence that would happen more and more quickly. So it's like, okay, I see, by the way, I see this thing that's happening, and it helped me to kind of detach more from like a projection happening from someone else, and more connect in with my truth and who I am, and understand my journey more, and help to shift back to essentially presence more. So structures can help shift that light body in a permanent way, and then now hold that higher light. And now we can all do attunements and receive attunements ourselves. This is just, you can say, a support system where receiving attunements through someone else can help support that in a quicker way. So these attunements are Thursdays, and feel free to drop in to check that out. Check out what they're about, see more about it, and see if it resonates with you. So I'm also doing an event here Friday. It's a you can say 3-week journey, but it's every Friday for 1 hour, where there is a building. There's a building of this connection to dimensionally to Stonehenge. So I visited Stonehenge last summer solstice. I was in the stones, and you can actually go back, if you can find it on my YouTube channel on one of the lives a year ago. I filmed for hours. I was in this space, in the stones, in this remembrance. And so what happens for me, and what a lot of the work I do, is I connect in with a lot of sacred sites. A lot of times, people feel really guided to go to sacred sites. Sometimes they know why. I have gone for my own healing, right? When you go to like sacred sites or ones that are like with vortexes, there's usually a shift that happens much quicker. Like, I don't know what they say, like 100 times quicker. I don't know the math there, but there's a huge shift. What happens with me is not only healing, is this energetic exchange and understanding of whatever wants to come out from that. So an understanding of maybe from ancestors, an understanding of ways of being, connections into portals, into these sacred sites that have knowledge. Now, a lot of knowledge that comes in, that has come in for me, it'll channel in, but a lot is like at a higher level. A lot is it through energetic exchange. So sometimes we can say a lot of words, and there can be like ego attachments to things, and sometimes not, and it's pure channeling. But there's this higher energetic exchange of knowledge that then what happens is it helps us to see our connection to our true self, or what our journey is telling us at that time. So I work from a space of empowerment. I love to help guide people to do the work themselves. And so the more that we help to kind of clear out and see, we can then start to hear the channel ourselves, which is the ultimate goal, is that we are all channels, and we can all do this. There's what's in the way of us really seeing that. So this journey came in and is connected to Metatron and Stonehenge specifically, where we're dimensionally actually traveling there through the transmission. And there will be messages that you receive on your own. So if you're like, I always wanted to go to Stonehenge, or you're hearing this here now and you're like, oh, that sounds like pretty cool, just kind of tune in to see, does this journey feel right? So as we're building, the last day is actually on summer solstice, so June 20th. So on Friday, June 20th, every Friday, starting this Friday. And so it'll just give you a little bit of, or an opportunity to kind of expand the Merkaba, receive the transmissions and higher knowledge, and help you to connect into that portal and that heart expansion there. So they say that there's like these earth chakras, and they're different areas in the earth. So and maybe it's different for everyone, but the Mount Shasta is the root chakra, which I have been, and I connect into that very much so. They also say Stonehenge is connected to the heart chakra. They say that with a couple other spaces too, but when I was there, it connected into my heart chakra, my higher heart chakra. And I was also in a Glastonbury as well, which they say is connected to the third eye. So there's a lot of connection between those two that'll come in as well. But this connection to our heart and this expansion to that unity, a lot of that energetic knowledge will come in through this event, expanding our unconditional love. So just let that, if that feels like that sounds like a journey that you want to experience, check it out. I have it on my site. I also have the QR link up here. So feel free to check it out on both of those areas if that feels good. So feel free to give this live a like here. I see we got some new people in here. So we're just talking about some of the events that I have coming up. But I'm also now going to be tuning into, if anyone else is looking for a reading or healing, let me know. Just doing very, very, some mini stuff to help that there. But if not, I'm going to flow back into a collective here and see where that goes. So let me know, and let me know where you are tuning in from. Like I love to see the different people that are around the world. So sometimes you never know. Yeah. Oh, I love that. Going to Shasta, the end of June. I love that. Yeah, they are powerful spots. The first time I went to Mount Shasta, that was actually right after my corporate job was eliminated, and I could feel that root chakra just like moving and shifting, and all of the energy there helping there as well. And the second time I went last August during the Lionsgate portal, I connected to a consciousness that has led me to, and I don't have it up to list here, but to the angelic unity consciousness attunements that I offer right now, just one-on-one. And so it's a place where whatever your intentions are, you'll receive. So if that's healing, if that's connecting into higher consciousness states, into beings, that'll come through. And sometimes it takes a few weeks or months to unpack. Yeah, like after my journey to Shasta the second time last year, I felt the attunements coming through, and I came out with them. But after a couple months, it's unpacked into other ways. So I'm going back to Shasta myself. So have fun in that journey there. I love that. Cool. I'm gonna pull a card here, so I don't see anyone drop anything in. I'm gonna just tune in here, tuning into for highest good collective here, whether you're here now or you're watching this later. Oh, okay. So this is something that has come to me. A message has been coming to me for a couple weeks. So there is something in our journey, right? In a spiritual journey, in a healing journey, that sometimes we keep saying, what else do I need to heal? What else do I need to fix? Like, how can I get in deeper? How can I, right? And the healing journey is a journey. So there's nothing to take away from that credit and that aspect. There is just an opportunity to look at, are we attaching to the idea and notion of healing instead of stepping into this understanding of this wholeness of who we truly are, right? Like we can be attached to like fixing, because that is something that was created in the subconscious. So it's like, I need to fix, right? There's an experience, maybe there's something we experience in life that is like, that's kind of turned into like, well, I need to like fix, because then that means I'm safe, because then that means I'm protected, right? Whatever that means. It's just what's funneling through. So when we get to like the spiritual journey or healing journey, when we get to these roads where we've done a lot of work, and now we may still turn and be like, well, what else do I need to do? Where am I at? What else do I need to heal? Like, how can I get in deeper? And it can take us away from the present moment. Okay, so what does that mean? Like, it means, okay, I am so focused on past and like all of the stuff that I feel I still need to work on, instead of, hey, I'm here, and I'm truly fucking whole. Like this is it. This is the presence. And so I come from a space where connecting into that presence is so necessary. That is the basis of actually my work. Now I do it through a couple modalities. So you'll see if you do check out my stuff, like through the Akashic Enlightenment work, to help people to see. But ultimately, like, what is it? It's this remembrance of who we truly are. And I say remembrance, sometimes it's not remember from like this lifetime. It's like a soul level of remembrance. It's not like, okay, I've gone through this trauma one after another, experiences, all these things in life, and like I need to remember like who I was before all of it. But sometimes we go through one thing after another, and like there was this maybe never this opportunity to be like, well, who am I truly? We have a soul level, this divine wholeness, divine perfection of which I believe we all truly are. That frequency of that remembrance coming in and realizing that's the truth. That's the universal truth. Stepping into that frequency and that resonance and that space instead of this idea and notion that I need to work harder to heal. I'm not saying that's everyone, right? So take it with what resonates with you. But there is structures, there are mindsets, there are society beliefs, family dynamics of like this work hard mentality. And I need to go in and do this more. I need to figure it out more and figure out, right, this kind of, if you want to call it like a toxic type masculine type energy, which has nothing to do with being a man. It has to do with the energy of that structure, this maybe protection on these walls of structure that need to be put up so that if this is organized in my mind and I know where I need to go to next so that I can figure out who I can be, well, the flow of that is actually in the way of us figuring out who we are, right, and a soul level. So there's these messages coming in, guys, of like helping this clarity and this understanding of getting back into that presence so we can acknowledge where we're at. And we're acknowledge, oh, like I went in deep for this journey, right? And if we can take the moments to get into those spaces, all of these things, all these self-realizations, boom, 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 they start to come in, boom, 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 one after another. And you're like, oh, I am fucking whole. Like, I'm not broken. I never was broken. Maybe some of those ideas and mindsets may kind of come in, but it's like, the way that it's coming for me is this feeling of like pain and trauma filtering through perception to say, okay, like I'm broken, so it needs to fix, and then I'll be healed. Right. So those mindsets and mentalities, and from my experience and truth of universal knowledge, is that that's not real. It's just filtering through maybe some old mindsets that need to just be acknowledged and just say, okay, that was coming from somewhere. That's not truth. Where I'm at is here, acknowledging here. And I like to do what's also called celebrating wins, like acknowledging the journey that I'm at and where I'm at. And when you do that, you check into presence and you're like, oh, like I did that really well, right? There's a lot of ways that you can do it, but ultimately it's understanding that yes, it's a journey. There are aspects that we can to work on the healing, but at some point, guys, the focus is not on what else do I need to heal anymore. It's I remember who I am, and maybe I need some self-discovery because I've been in that journey and working through those core belief systems that were illusions, and I've been dismantling it. And now I need to figure out my own self-discovery of who I am and how I am being expressed in that way. And that is when we start to create these neural pathways of new ways of being. And when we start to create new patterns based on this strength and this power within and this truth and this wholeness, that is where the patterns continue to go. And it stops focusing on like, all right, I need to go back to that journey and figure out why again. And it starts to focus on, that's a pretty cool thing I do, or that I like to do, or let me be curious, do I want to do that? Okay, I am excited about that. So let that be like an opportunity for you to challenge yourself. If this is resonating, let it be something where you can challenge yourself and say, okay, where is it that I can just stop and be present? And in this present moment, what is it that I feel connected to? Ask those questions. What do I feel connected to? Okay, I'm going to use this example as, that happened. I didn't like that. Okay, so I'm going to choose something different. And then it does not need to be about, oh, I need to heal that. It's like, you know what? I learned. That's something that I do not prefer. Let me continue in this journey. So if it can be a journey, but it doesn't need to be hard. Is really the message coming through. It does not need to be hard, and we don't need to define it in any type of way. There's no perfect way to describe it, and everyone experiences life through their own filters, and that's okay too. Past life, present power. Okay, I can't make this up. If you can read that, it's probably a little fuzzy there, but we have angel wings here, guys. Angel wings here. And all these geometric shapes around this kind of Merkaba looking thing. And past life, present power. There's like a multi-dimensional aspect of you that is, right, the soul level remembrance is actually what I was referring to before. It's like remembering who we truly are, remembering these other lifetimes, right, in power, and remembering present power. I don't know if you can actually see that because it's backwards, but present power here, right? What is present power giving us? Present power, the presence of now, is giving us this opportunity to have more, see the energy as in flow, instead of being pulled in thoughts in different ways of like, I need to go do this, I need to go figure out that, I need to figure out why. And the present power here is helping create a reality that is aligned in my highest truth, right? My highest truth. And what does that even mean? Well, when we're present enough, we can hear that come through. So it's going to be different for everyone, and that's the beauty of it, is remembering that someone else's experience and their journey, that's not mine to hold. That's not mine. I actually physically have no control over it. I actually have no control over someone else's journey. I may feel like I can, direct someone, right? But ultimately, they have their own free will. So taking that step back to be in presence is so important. So hopefully that's resonating with you guys. If that is, hit that like button. Just show some love here. Show some love. And if you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe there as well. I'm going to pull another card here. Feel free to drop in if you're looking for a mini reading or healing. If not, I'm just going to flow in with one or two more cards here and just see what shows up. See what beauty shows up here. And it is a reminder that, by the way, it's June. And if this year has flown by for you, because you're just like basically holding on to your pants, and you're like, I don't know, shoot, went by really quick. What I'm hearing is that this month, the way that June can flow for you take that presence, that whether you're just coming in now or you heard a bit of what was being channeled in before, you take the presence of the present moment. You take the presence and now you take this moment and create from that. Maybe you go slower, I just heard. Maybe you, my happy Gemini season, by the way. Maybe you get 5 million ideas, okay? And you want to do them all, but you tune in, you go slower, you center in, you take a breath or a few breaths and see what is it that your heart's saying, what is it that you're most passionate about, and let that be your guide, and take an intentional step towards that. All it takes is one intentional step and things will open up. The universe is supporting you. You are the universe. So when we are taking those intentional steps, there's that journey to back it up. So let this month be in that that airy energy. Allow the ideas to come in. Write them all down. And as you know, as we're integrating, see what feels really good inside. I love to call out the Geminis here in Gemini season. I don't know a lot about astrology, I said before, but I am a Gemini sun and moon, and so I want to celebrate my Geminis. Hey, happy birthday to you guys, ladies and gals, for being amazing beings and amazing people. And there's actually a message coming in. So I don't know if there's any other Geminis that are watching this. So if you are a Gemini and you're watching this, please let me know. But if not, or if you're coming in later, I'd love to hear you drop that in. I do have something coming in for this Gemini energy, where this is like all this air, and this air is this. There's this communication of these divine downloads that are just flying in one after another. And it's actually coming into my third eye center, and it's going back to all of these divine ideas and opportunities, and how are we seeing, right? It's I'm seeing all these, the way that I'm receiving the information is coming in through my head and through my third eye, and it's 5 different things or 10 different things I want to do, and it's filtering through, and there's some opportunities to settle in with. If I usually get ideas and I get torn into many different directions, there's opportunities to look at what I may be doing, which is am I unintentionally, which is usually how it works, using these ideas and actions as distractions to, instead of going after the one thing that feels really, really aligned, I'm using all the other little things as but I received that information, and so it must be true, right? And the universe is showing many timelines and many opportunities of things that can be done. But there is this one truth and resonance of it feels like this one thing that I'm really excited about. And it's an opportunity to use this communication of these divine downloads to tune in even deeper to present moment. Some of the other things feel like we're going to be doing those things in the future, and they're coming in. So I'm just seeing they're showing me someone who's writing down all these ideas, and then they come back, and a year later they're oh yeah, I really want to do that now. So now it's tuning into the body and what feels good, and how that can be expressed now. But what feels in the biggest alignment, let that be speak from your heart this season, and let that flow come in. So let that flow come in. Okay, I'm going to pull a card and see if there's anything else that comes in here for this last maybe last message or two. We'll see. And then what comes in? Unique well-being. Okay, I love this card. I'm going to show you. So look at the, let me take this down actually. Here's the QR code. So you can see from top to bottom. Just look at those divine codes or those light codes that are in there. Unique well-being. Okay, along with this month, okay, I'm hearing along with this month is you're gonna have, there could be situations that come up and you have the decision to choose your energetic boundaries, right? There's a message coming through on sometimes there have been things in our past and experiences where we never learned what boundaries are. Okay, we never learned, whether that's because there were some traumatic experiences that solidified in or that taught us, right? If boundaries were never created and never even given a chance to be enforced, because if it's for a kid, right, things happen, or there was just maybe like even a dysregulation or dysfunction in family dynamics, or like how that upbringing looks, and never an understanding of boundaries and how it plays a role today then, right? So if we're looking back at like what was learned through experiences or through like unintentional teachings, then what am I doing today? Okay, where am I at today? And am I actually creating boundaries? And that could mean discovering when I feel uncomfortable and where is that coming from? Is that just like is that just something being activated within my body, a remembrance of like that reminds me of that thing? Or is it actually something that a behavior or something toxic coming in from someone else where we say, nope, no more. Okay. But then it's our job to enforce boundaries. It's like I'm seeing a picture of like a toddler running around. Okay. You never like explain like to a toddler that they shouldn't touch the hot stove. They might just touch the hot stove. So if there's a relationship dynamic that you have with someone and you have always been doing it this one way, and now I say in my mind, nope, no more, nope, no more, last time. If that's not being communicated, that dynamic is still going to happen. And there's just no, until we get to telepathy on a full grand scale, right? That dynamic is going to happen. So whose job is it to enforce the boundaries, right? Is it, or the understanding of the boundaries and the expression of why, right? It is my job in my sovereign, independent being here to express, oh, this is why. And this is how it's going to be going forward, right? This behavior is no longer tolerant, however it's said, right? Maybe that's not said, but like in my mind, okay, this behavior is no longer tolerated. And by the way, this is not going to happen anymore. And this is the boundary set. And now it's something, now that it's been expressed, but maybe the dynamic in the relationship has been that way for decades or a year or years, right? Okay, it was expressed. Good. Who's the one that needs to enforce it? Me, right? If that's the way that we've been doing things, it just becomes a natural thing. So now I'm given this opportunity for my well-being, right? This card's unique well-being to my specific situation, to how I feel, to what feels good for me, to what is no longer tolerated, to what's toxic. And now I enforce and say, by the way, did you see that boundary that was crossed? No, right? Like how are that's being expressed now, and responding from a space of power, in our power, right? In our power, and this divine right to feel safe, right? And all of those things, but expressing when things are crossed, right? And first it comes from an awareness of, by the way, this is a boundary, and now I'm expressing it, and now I'm enforcing it. And by the way, I didn't even know I had these boundaries, or, that's okay. We have the innate right to define these new ways of being, these new behaviors that are healthy. We have an innate right. But if we never learned these healthy ways of being, if we learn things through pain, right, that's the only filter I have. So maybe I didn't even know I needed a boundary. So that's where we bring it to an awareness. Where do I feel uncomfortable? Curiosity, is it I feel uncomfortable because it's triggering an old memory, and this has nothing to do with me, and it's not as what I think? Or is this something that's toxic? Is it a dynamic that, nope, it's not going to happen anymore. It's not going to cut it. So that's the opportunity. Curiosity. Like, let that curiosity be seen, and ask the questions internally on the dialogue, and check in with the body. I always share, I've experienced PTSD, and I realized in the mind-body disconnect of that experience, that severe experience, that my mind-body disconnect was always there through the trauma that I experienced. And now that gift of presence allowed me to say, okay, I'm going to check in with my body. Where does my body feel no? Where does my body feel fuck yes? Like, and related to whatever else, like it should be like excitement and joy, yes. And what does a no feel like? So I take through different classes, through different coaching or aspects and personal sessions with me, like check in. But you could do this on your own. What does a no feel like? Because if we have been saying yes when we meet no, how do we know what a no feels like, right? Check in with the body. What does it feel like? Use that as an indicator then in the future to be like, that's a no. That's a hell no. So use that to move and anchor in that truth and who you are, and what feels good. And like, the body will not lie. The mind can sometimes be distorted from the experiences, and ego wanting to protect. So in the body, right, like starting to discover that map of like, oh, okay, yes, I get really excited about that. No. So allow yourself to explore that unique well-being, guys, right? That unique well-being. What is it for you, and how can you show up for you? But what does that even mean? Right? And how's that curiosity then integrate into full application of this way, of this truth? So let that, hopefully that's resonating, but the messages are coming through for a reason. And so let this be your space, your sanctuary to like feel into what resonates for you. And not everything may resonate with you, but maybe there might be some things that and opportunities to look at differently in the future, and look out for yourself. And I wanted to end it here. If there are new people that kind of came in here, I have check out. I have attunements coming in live this Thursday, energetic attunements for 9 weeks. So if you're connecting to the energy and you're like feeling the vibe, I also am offering discovery calls as well. So if you have questions on what these attunements are, right, they're new energetic structures that are helping us connect to our true self and connect to that soul purpose and to feel lighter, right? But if you have a question or two, jump on a discovery call. Check out my website. It's over here, My Awakening Within. Let's see if I have that up right here. So for some reason it's not showing up on my side, but yeah, check out that website. Check out the activations starting this Friday with Stonehenge. And if you're feeling called, go book a session with me. So book an Akashic Enlightenment session, a personal one-on-one, guided by your specific records, your specific energetic database of everything that you've experienced in this lifetime. And if you're feeling stuck somewhere, if you're feeling blocked somewhere, and you're just needing a little bit of help to pull that through, so you bring it to your awareness and you release that, right? That'll help the energy shift. It's multidimensional healing on many different aspects using the modalities that some of them that came through today. So let that be, let that be something that you step into and that you allow yourself support if you so choose to. So my website's there. Check that out. Sign up for the newsletter if you haven't already. I have some free events that I will be throwing in June. So if you're connected to getting to see that a little bit more, check that out so you can see some of the stuff I do. And hope you guys enjoyed today. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button to my channel, to Facebook, to YouTube. And I plan on being here Tuesday, so feel free to tune in next week and come hang with me and enjoy the rest of your night, guys. All right, bye.